With that, the gentleman from Tennessee, Mr. Ogles, is recognized for 5
Thank you,
minutes.
Mr. Chairman, and thank you all for being here today. I want to touch on something that Mr. Muser said and that you mentioned in kind of passing, Mr. Naranha, is the idea that Iran has somehow been involved in attempted assassinations on U.S. soil. Can you please expand on that?
Iran is currently trying to assassinate my former boss, Brian Hook, who's testified before Congress multiple times. They're trying to assassinate Mike Pompeo, John Bolton, but also Democrats. They're trying to assassinate current officials of the Biden administration, General Mark Milley, who served both presidents, Masih Alinejad, who testified before Congress yesterday. They're trying to do it, and they have made active attempts, and I'll leave that to your imagination. They've been described in some Department of Justice filings, showing up on people's doorsteps with guns, getting within 100 feet of targets. A lot of our public servants have to live with 24-hour security details, and they've been living with them for 3 years, if not longer. That's not how Americans should have to live. This is not Republican, Democrat. This is a disgrace to our public servants who have served this country, both administrations, and shouldn't have to be treated this way.
So, to emphasize, both Republicans and Democrats live under constant fear. It's documented, we know it, because of assassination attempts or plans against their lives. Is that fair?
That is, sir.
Is it reasonable to assume that giving Iran or Qatar or any mechanism by which money would flow into Iran would somehow aid and abet the missions to kill Americans on U.S. soil?
These operations are expensive. They need the money to do it. They have bounties of up to $1 million on the heads of each of these Americans. That money is absolutely subsidizing these assassination threats. They would probably still try to do them, but it makes their job much easier.
Would it be in the best interest of our homeland and the aforementioned individuals whose lives are under a fatwa or assassination orders that these monies be pulled back and blocked?
I believe it could save their lives, at least some of their lives.
Mr. Goldberg, do you have any comments?
No, sir. The leading state sponsor of terrorism with active plots to kill Americans should not have access to a nickel if we can stop it.
Would you like to say that again a little louder? So on that, you know, Mr. Stile mentioned Qatar. What active role has Qatar played in essentially allowing, aiding Iran to get around sanctions, which then allows monies to flow to these active terrorist organizations, sponsor of state terrorism, the literal active ongoing assassination attempts against former and current public officials?
My understanding is that separate of the $6 billion which we're debating, Qatar is not typically an economic partner of Iran. They're not typically the sanctions-busting jurisdiction involved here.
Mr. Goldberg?
Listen, in general, we should have a principle, which is there's no access to cash, there's no relationships, there's no safe harbor. You should not be in the capital of Qatar in Doha and have a summit between the Iranian foreign minister and the head of Hamas. And then, by the way, allow that same Iranian foreign minister, who was also in Beirut earlier this summer before the attacks, to come to New York on a visa.
Well, so Mr. Goldberg, you know, when you look at the $6 billion Iran deal, there was a prisoner swap, obviously the funds. In my opinion, it's appeasement, but can you give us broader scope of that deal and, again, the risk associated with it as, again, we have a minute, so I'm going to give you the floor, but the unintended consequences of this, again, appeasement of state terror?
I think it's a very important time to zoom out and think about this at a strategic level. Right now, we've all talked about the brink of regional war. Why would we be on a brink of regional war? Because Iran is not deterred. Why is Iran not deterred? Because as much as the president says, I'm going to send another carrier strike group, don't do it, Iran, they also at the same time see a posture of saying, how much money can we make available to you so that we don't have to confront you if you continue to escalate your nuclear program? So long as you have $10 billion plus in a waiver that's continuing to build up money available to the regime in Oman, $6 billion moved from South Korea, all the oil that's flowing, it is not possible to allow that much oil to go without having built up sanctions targets that you're sitting on, that you're not imposing sanctions on, and not talking to Beijing about it first. All of that, $50 billion or more, the $80 billion since 2021, It all needs to stop. Otherwise, they will continue to push and push until this escalates further.
Mr. Goldberg, real quickly, is the world a more dangerous place because of this $6 billion?
Gentleman's time has expired.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, I yield back. Thank you.